Hi, this is Esther Lin for MMAfighting.com, and here are some of my favorite shots from UFC 154 in Montreal. Carlos Condit hits mitts for the media with Brandon Gibson at the Montreal nightclub New City Gas. Each fight week means a different media workout in a new venue, ranging from hotel ballrooms to local gyms. Each have their own challenges to shoot. New City Gas was lit dimly, as a club should be, with red accents all over, making it look like an underground MMA-themed CSI episode. Condit's nickname is a convenient plot coincidence. Tom Lawler was doing one-on-one interviews, and I saw Seth Petrozelli and Kyle Holland standing behind him in their bathrobes from the hotel, and I imagined them in a line, giving a menacing but old-fashioned hard look. When they finished their interview, I lined up Sumo Suave and asked them to look over this way, just so. Petrozelli said as I arranged them, "Oh, we're getting artistic with this." George St-Pierre looked to be back in his element here in the media scrum at open workouts. St-Pierre was so crowded in by press, I had to climb on a chair to grab this shot. While all of the questions revolved around his 19-month layoff, his relaxed demeanor at least proved he was still comfortable in the spotlight. This was during the introduction to Rory McDonald's Q&A session. I mostly found this amusing because of the nightclub setting. It looked like a scene from 1984. We sat in the dark, expecting our dictator to come out and address us. As George St-Pierre weighs in, all the fans, sardine-packed into New City Gas, lifted their cameras and phones in unison to catch the greatest welterweight of all time make his long-awaited return. 1,000 simultaneous posts to Instagram as we all share and record the same moment. The champ returns. Usually on fight day, we in the media have a small pre-fight roundtable with the main event fighter on an upcoming card. But here, we were jammed in to speak with Anderson Silva about his intentions to fight George St-Pierre. He was jovial, holding court to a larger press corps than normal. I just love the lines of fluorescent lights across the ceiling, the concentric arcs of journalists rippling out from Silva at the center. As a general rule, I don't upload images to the site if there's no faces, but this picture of Ivan Menjivar midair as he's about to go belly down on that armbar against Azamat Gashimov, the movement and the muscle, falling yet frozen. Here is a fraction of a second expanded to infinite time in still image, human form locked in brutal skills we've acquired to conquer one another. I've always found rules to be wonderful because then there's something to defy, to break. Every fight gallery needs a few good punch faces. I had a lot from Makdessi vs. Stout, but this is one I actually didn't notice when I first scanned through my images. Sometimes I work so fast, a lot of solid images fall through the cracks. Mainly, this is an example of the things you find when you slow down and go back over the fight the next day. Mark Hominick as round 3 begins. He's badly beat up and knows he needed to win this last round, the task ahead looking impossible. It's that stare. Years of hard work, training, fighting. His stare is resolve, but what could be done? Hominick's head is full of questions and no easy answers to draw. Only 5 long minutes ahead as he stares at Pablo Garza across the cage. I think this image is simply violent. While I didn't have a clear view of the left cross, I had shot the moment, then tried in vain to follow the two bodies as they propelled toward the back wall of the cage. I caught up to Hendricks, but Catman is laying there out of focus, awaiting his senses to return. Hendricks' body is wound, ready to fire again. At the post-fight presser, Hendricks said, "I'm a wrestler and I can knock people out. That's pretty sweet, huh?" Genuine joy. Utter happiness of his dream closer. Hendricks had done what he had hoped all along. The knockout we knew he was capable of, but we wondered if it could happen again. It was so fast. In the countdown show, there's lots of pictures of a young Johnny Hendricks, smiling over a catch or wide-eyed as he posed at wrestling. It's that same smile, magnified under the glass of thousands of eyes, glowing jubilation over a job well done. I wonder what it's like to watch yourself get knocked out minutes after. To see a fight that passed faster than the introductions. After all that hard training, weight cut, all those hours of press obligations. Catman sat here for some time, hearing the crowd react again and again to each replay. I'm heartbroken for Catman here. I can't imagine what he's feeling at all. Perhaps it's as heavy as a sudden loss of someone near. There's no time to brace, but you're left with more time than you ever wanted to deal with the aftermath. After the first round, a small but deep cut opened near Condit's right eye and bled profusely. Condit stood up. You could almost feel the arena gasp at the sudden sight of so much blood, but he threw his arms up defiantly to assure the world he still wanted to fight. Testament to his toughness, when asked about all the blood at the post-fight press conference, Condit responded, "I think it looked cool. Everyone likes a bloody fight, right?" This is the kick that knocks GSP down. Well, right before it. This is the moment Georges St-Pierre realizes he is about to get kicked in the head. St-Pierre said at the presser that he did not see the kick coming at all. But in this fraction of a second before impact, St-Pierre prepares. Condit's leg is slightly motion blurred as it whips towards St-Pierre, and I love seeing that realization, frozen, as if St-Pierre knows he'll be hit and can't do anything to prevent it, so he prepares for collision. We hear all the time, "Oh, this fight was a war," but this fight really was a war. A lot of people seem to think that Condit was beaten handily, but St-Pierre's face tells a different story. The strain of George's face, Carlos's tangled, folded body, wrenching at the limbs. This is the part of a fight where your heart shows. Both men gritting it out to the last second. The motion in this photo, fighters driving to a victory at the end, reminds me of 18th century battle paintings, soldiers' faces contorted in effort. A victorious team and proud parents. St-Pierre's mother sporting his reconfirmed belt, a win harder earned than when he first won the title. I love how much George looks like his mom. Their eyes crease the same way, their noses are the same shape except George's is bumped and bruised. How grand to triumph in battle before a massive, cheering audience, eyes all around the world, and to share it with the two people most vital to your success in life. Condit does a post-fight interview with Ariel Helwani for Fuel, moments after leaving the octagon. There's still dried blood on his face. Carlos watches Ariel ask him questions, his answers clear-eyed and candid. The damage to his physique is not as extensive as his bloody cut had suggested. Condit was far more hurt by having ascended to the top, only to be defeated. Being beaten by the best in the world is a small consolation for the grueling effort, years of toiling up and down the ranks, all that sweat put towards the championship. About an hour after the fight had ended, St-Pierre finally makes it to the press conference. I watch everyone on the dais take turns answering questions. While Dana is glowing about the fight, I look at St-Pierre and find this. I can feel him looking past me, right past the bright lights shining at him, out the dark windows of the Bell Center's Club des Jardins, into the pitch-black night sky. What a dominating, though tough, still hard-earned victory. St-Pierre definitively won his fight against Carlos Condit, and it wasn't easy. But how life-affirming to suffer through such a clash and punctuate all that time rehabilitating, then training, and remain the undisputed champion. This is Esther Lin for MMAfighting.com. Thanks for watching and see you in Seattle.